Welcome back to the Collegiate Championship Series game. This is game 2 of Worcester versus Bentley. Back with Pixie and
Nell, hi.
Nell. Hiccup1357 in game. She's also a diamond player, so
Barely.
definitely have some knowledge coming in through there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was making sure this.
It's fine, yeah.
Okay. Alright, so starting out.
Okay,
Dude,
go,
sorry.
go, go.
Starting out with the bands, there's gonna be a Collie and Aatrox coming from Bentley, and Zach and Poppy come from Worcester. Wait, doesn't Worcester not have
Actually-
bands, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Or is it switched?
Hold on, let me see something here. They're supposed to be reversed. I don't know. It's like
Oh, they're supposed to be switched?
yeah.
Oh.
I'll hide that. I hate tripods.
Does his mouse work?
Oh, that would help.
His mouse.
That would help.
It's so small, look at it. What?
You're a diamond mid laner, no. Bring that knowledge.
Barely.
All right, there we go. Teams are correctly set up now.
Are they centered? That's pretty centered. Okay, we're good to
Yeah,
go.
I'm not gonna
Okay,
lose
so
them.
bands are finished. I'm pretty sure Worcester, the Collie, Aatrox, and Mumu, those aren't supposed to be actual bands.
Yeah, those are
but
the throwaway bands
Yeah.
that Worcester had to ban.
Yeah. We're seeing this Sejuani Braum come out on. I don't know.
Just saying, you're a bad peer culprit.
He was swearing in front of a kid earlier.
Stream. We see the Silas pick coming through again for Bentley there. Did some work in the team fights, so
Yeah.
I kind of respect the pick now.
I'm interested in seeing what Ivy is going to pick into it. We're going to see the Kayla and Jana come out from the bot lane again on Bentley's side. They did it last game, and they did pretty well, I think, considering the
I
matchup.
agree. I think that was their strongest point in last
Yeah.
game. I do like the Karthus pick if they go through with it, because Karthus is really annoying
Yeah.
and really strong. He did just get nerfed though.
It's probably Karthus mid, right? Because it can't
Yeah,
be jungle.
for sure.
Yeah. That's going to be good. I think that's not good. I don't think that's a bad matchup for Karthus. I don't know. I just like talk.
Silas can definitely punish Karthus, but
Yeah,
if
definitely.
Karthus plays well, it'll work out. I reversed them.
Oh, you did already?
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool.
I saw it wrong. I was like, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
didn't.
that's cool. I didn't realize you did.
Yeah. So
Lucian man, I think that's a good ban. I think he's really aggressive in lane, so it might have been hard for the Kayla and Jared to deal with.
yeah, I think the ban really came from them picking the Braum first, and
Yeah, definitely.
Bentley just didn't want Braum Lucian. That's
Yeah.
really annoying. I like the Sivir pick too, though.
Yeah, definitely.
It gives them some scaling.
I think the only problem for them is going to be early game. I think that their laning is going to be fairly difficult, but if they are able to scale, I think that Worcester, it definitely has a good chance of winning.
Yeah, they have a much better chance than they did last game.
Yeah.
And the Olaf pick coming out, possibly for the jungle. Oh, nope. Going back to Sion.
Sound again. I think that's good.
And
And
now-
that side is strong. You know?
Bentley picking up the Sion this time. Worcester had it last game, and it worked out fairly well for Worcester. I guess they did the best they could in that situation, but now they have it on Bentley's side, and I do like Sion picks. It's just a really decent top laner.
They're gonna be taking J4 for the jungle here. I'm really interested in seeing. You're a jungle player, so how
Yeah.
do you think J4 is gonna do against this Sejuani pick?
Sejuani definitely wins in 1v1s, but most of the power in mid and early game comes from 2v2s, because if you're ganking a lane and the enemy jungler's not there, that's like your mistake. Most of the fights are going to be 2v2.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think J4 Silas definitely has an edge over Karthus, Sejuani, especially in the early game. Pre-6, they definitely win.
Yeah. Look at the bot lane, I think that Silver and Braum, I think that's just going to be a scaling lane for both sides in the bot lane. They're both playing fairly passive bot lanes. They just kind of want to farm and scale up. So I feel like there's not going to be a lot happening in bot lane, but we will see.
Yeah, I think if Worcester wants to win this game, they definitely have to play bot lane as safe as possible and just try not to die.
Yeah.
We're about to hop right into the loading screen here. Oops. And we are on the 3-minute timer. So, looking at the comps overall, who would you place your money on?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think it can really go either way. The only thing is that I feel like Worcester is very, very tanky, and I think that might be a little bit hard to deal with for the Caitlyn Silas, because that's like kind of their only damage on Bentley's side.
I agree.
So I think that they get ahead early, they will definitely be okay. But I don't think there's going to be a lot happening bot lane for the Caitlyn, so.
Yeah, I definitely think the comps are, like, Worcester definitely stepped up their comps this game. Last game, they had a really bad early game centered comp against 2 tanks while they had 2 tanks themselves. And at that point, you're putting all your money into a Lux and a Lucian to carry against three huge tanks. They're just going to stand in front of you and do nothing.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Lucian and Lux definitely work. It's very hard for them to do damage to tanks.
And their comp is so much better this game, and I really see, if they play as well as they did last game, I really see the early game pretty much being a coin flip, and whichever team gets ahead in the early game is going to be able to dictate the rest of the game.
Yeah. I think what's really going to be important in this game are both the mid laners, like who's going to have more priority for their jungler.
For sure, because priority is pretty big in setting up side lane ganks and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And I give it to Karthus in that matchup just because he can shove out waves so fast. It's more on him if he's comfortable in the champion to push up in lane. I think most Karthus kind of just play back and farm up. But if he realizes his strength, he should be able to push up and force out priority.
The only thing that might happen is that Karthus might give Silas a bit too much respect in lane when he can really just walk up and just clear the wave really easily without Silas being able to do a lot. So I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen mid lane.
In terms of just matchups in the early game, mid lane does seem to be the most prevalent because you're not going to get kills on like Sion Cho'Gath unless you do a level 2 gank and someone just messes up completely.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's not going to be a lot happening top lane either. I think it's just going to be like two wet duos fighting against each other.
Win lane, win game.
Yeah.
As a mid main, who do you give this game to right now?
As a mid main?
As a mid main.
I've never really played as Silas or as Karthus before, but I'm thinking that if both of them play it perfectly, I honestly think that Karthus does win that just because of his like how easy it is for him to shove in his lane and get priority. I think that him doing that and being able to get vision for his jungler and for possible ganks against J4, I think J4 can get a very easy gank onto Karthus just because Karthus doesn't have a lot of mobility to go anywhere. So
I definitely agree with you there. If Karthus plays well, he should have this lane in the bag just because Silas's wave clear is fine. His wave clear is fine, but the problem is he has to use all of his abilities, and they do have pretty decent cooldowns early on. So if he uses all his abilities on clearing the wave, it's just going to be a dead lane until a jungler shows up.
Yeah.
There we go.
Who do you think, as a jungler, who do you think is going to win the game? Like, which team?
I would, if they play it perfectly, I would put my money on Worcester State here. I think Sivir in the late game with the peeling of Cho'Gath, Braum, and Sedge is just unstoppable. And J4 is definitely going to have to build damage. I do see the Electrocute coming out, but most tank Jarvans take Electrocute anyway just for the extra damage. So, honestly, we're just going to have to wait and see which team plays the early game better. And especially in this meta, we've seen it in professional play. Just the early game dictates the rest of the game, as it should, I think.
Yeah, I think it definitely should too.
How do I bring this thing up?
If you
Wait,
go
how do I
to-
bring the...
If you go here and then hit scope, or do that, that works. There you go, you got it.
And then did you swap the name?
Yeah, I saw the names.
You did?
I did. I just did. That's what I was doing.
Oh, you're so ahead of it already. Good job.
I'll show you in a second.
So both junglers are going to be starting bot lane. I think that's very normal, right?
Yeah, pretty standard start. I don't think any of them would have gone for anything super aggressive. I think they definitely want to contest scuttles early though.
Yeah.
Because level lead is huge in tank matchups just because of the scaling health that you get as being a tank.
Oh, yeah.
J4 taking huge damage from that red and that.
Oh, it's a...
He dies to the Raptors. That is an interesting play.
That's not... I don't think that's good for them. Like,
That's definitely not good.
Yeah.
That loses a lot of early pressure for the blue team, and I honestly don't know how that happened. I would not have taken Raptors with J4. That's just a terrible champion to do that jungle with.
Yeah.
That jungle camp with, I should say.
Yeah. I don't know how it works, so I can't really say much about it, but looks like it's not good since he just died to it.
Yeah.
I really do like the deep wards that were coming out early, though. We see one in on red side from blue, in the ward next to the Raptors.
Yeah. I don't really know what bush to call that either.
I don't know what- yeah.
I would say Raptor bush, but some early action coming in the mid lane. But once again, J4 coming back with no buffs there, seeing as he died to Raptors, and just doesn't look great for him.
I don't think that was very good of blue side to do, because I think that Sion does lose some meat. I don't know the proper grammar for that. I think that Sion loses some minions off of that, which could put him a little bit behind top lane.
For sure, having to roam around the map to save your jungler.
Yeah.
In terms of bot lane, I think both teams are playing to their strengths for sure.
Yeah.
I would have played a little farther back as Sivir until you hit that level 2 so you can shove the wave, but we're just going to have to see after the first reset if Sivir starts shoving the wave. I think that dictates the lane. Because if she can get the wave shoved in, she basically can confirm her just going even in the lane, at least, as long as they don't get ganked.
Yeah, definitely. But they did take some poke early game, so it's going to be a bit difficult for them to do that now. So we'll see how they play it. It looks like Sivir is a little bit behind in farm, but it's for most part it's fairly even.
I would want to get an early reset off on Sivir and just come back and shove the wave as much as possible. That early damage really did not put them in a good
I
spot.
think that here I'd probably back just
Yeah.
because it's so hard for her to stay now.
And they are backing off kind of a bit, warding that tri brush, really respecting the dive power J4 has, even in the early levels,
Yeah.
especially with that electrocute.
Yeah. Looks like Karthus has been pushing in, but looks like he's really respecting the Silas here.
Yeah, the CS lead does go to Silas here, but Karthus is going to have the wave pushing back to him, and that's just going to overall put him in a better spot. Good trading coming on top. Sion hitting that max power Q onto the Cho'Gath. Big chunk of damage coming out, but Cho'Gath's sustain in lane is just so good compared to Sion's. Early gank coming from Sedge over the wall, throws out the W, getting knocked up though onto the Caitlyn trap, and she's going to go down for first blood to the blue team. And that is rough.
I don't think... What's still happening? Okay, never mind. Okay. I think that...
I was waiting for you.
So I thought you were going to start commenting on that. Anyways, I think that gank from Sejuani was very... I think it's just
ambitious.
I feel that
Yeah.
it was very hard for them to pull off just because, well, it's his early game Sejuani, right? I think that's very hard for her to pull off anyway from that. But also, their balling was very low. I think that was very hard for them to be able to walk up to the Janna Caitlyn.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's just a mistake people will make.
Yeah.
They saw that bot lane was struggling, and they decided to gank instead of resetting.
Yeah, I think that resetting was definitely the play there because it's just so hard for them to stay in lane after losing like so much health.
Yeah,
like that.
for sure. Sivir needs to be able to shove out lanes. She needs to be able to press W and Q and just walk away
Yeah.
and take her CS lead. But we see now she's down almost 20 CS in the bot lane, and
Yeah. This is gonna be
that's
really
a
hard
huge
for her.
deficit this early.
Plus the kill. Caitlyn also got the kill from that too. So she also has red buff, so that's gonna be very
Red buff
harsh.
and a BF sword, and the lane's pushing towards blue side. I just can't see this lane going too well for Worcester State
It's gonna be
past
very-
this point.
Yeah, it's gonna be very hard for them to walk up now, I think.
Silas taking an aggressive trade onto the Karthus here. Reminder that he can steal the Karthus ult. Going in, Karthus out of mana for this trade, and Silas just respecting the poke there. Oh, we do see the Sejuani coming mid there. Probably a better play than all-inning.
Yeah. I think that I feel like the Dorn Star wasn't the best on Karthus. I think Corrupting Potion is just straight up much stronger right
Yeah,
now.
I honestly agree, yeah. He gets the passive from killing CS with his E anyway, that he doesn't need the mana back from killing any more minions. I think Corrupting would have been a much stronger start.
Yeah.
It would have allowed him to have mana at that point. But we do see him back and pick up the Catalyst, and yep, he is getting the Catalyst.
Yeah, so he should be pretty okay with mana now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good start. Rushing the Rod of Ages, which is probably what he's doing. So yeah, I think that's very like standard for Karthus to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should definitely look to fight him here because
Good
Silas
poke
hasn't
onto
back
the
yet.
Silas there. Silas going to use his W to heal up, but using it early in a fight could be fatal. Kaylin is just using her lead as much as she can. Silas does have the flash here as the Sejuani. Gonna get pushed out. Slowed down by that stun there. Silas gonna miss the E onto the red and use flash over the wall. Karthus ult coming out, getting the stun off. Can she get the auto? And she does get the auto on Silas there, and he's gonna go down. Do they follow up on J4? They do not, because blue side bot lane is rotating in.
Yeah, I think that was definitely very well done by Worcester, but I think that it was also kind of badly done from Bentley because I think that Bentley should have rotated sooner, and it took a very long time for J4 to actually like realize it because he was just staying on his red buff.
Yeah. Ooh. The Caitlyn ult coming out to take down Sivir there. That is huge for the side of Bentley there, just really ensuring that bot lane lead. And I do want to throw out there that Worcester's ADC right now is not an ADC main. Once again, they had a roster swap. Ivy from last game was in the mid lane. Now she's in the bot lane playing ADC. She is a mid/support main. And Worcester, as long as losing... Oh, big play coming out here. J4 diving onto the Karthus, and we see the Segel come out. Big damage from the Karthus going into the J4 there, but neither team committing. Too scared to make a play.
I think that was played both sides. Like all the ults are coming out, but I think Worcester definitely could have committed much harder there.
I agree. I think they could have gotten the kill off that.
Yeah, I think they were playing very scared. I'm not really sure why. I guess they were scared of the Silas having the Karthus R, but
Yeah.
I think that they definitely could have committed a bit more to that.
And once again, we see J4 going very low to a jungle monster. Is he going to greed for the Gromp here? Oh, he has full health. Never mind. Well, decent health. Enough to kill Gromp. I definitely agree. I think that's a mistake from someone who doesn't play too much Karthus, that he could have just ran into that fight, and even if he dies, he gets the damage off, and they just kill two people for free.
Definitely. And that volley is going to be really hard for Worcester to come back from.
Yeah, 35 CS deficit, 36 CS deficit.
Plus 2 kills for Kaylin. I think that's very hard on Ivy here.
She has to be sitting on an IE at this, or not an IE, whatever she's going for first.
Yeah. I think just gonna stay back with Brown backs. I think that's fine. But it's gonna be hard because the lane is pushing towards Bentley here. So I think that if Bentley freezes ball lane, Ivy's gonna miss a lot far from it.
I think freezing it is the way to go here. Ivy's definitely respecting that. The power of the J4 gank at that point, and just playing super far back as much as she can really at that point. because if you overstep even a little bit, Bentley will punish you, and we've seen that happen in the bot lane game after game.
Yeah.
Card Thistle coming out. Is that looking to finish someone off? Nope, just throwing it out because it was about to expire.
I'm not quite sure. Wait, whose ult was it? Was it? Oh,
Silas.
it was a Silas.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the actual card this time.
No.
Okay.
It was probably just about to expire, and he wanted to throw it out.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense.
Huge poke coming from the Janna and Caitlyn lane here. Braum very low with no shield. We see J4 engage on the mid lane. Red Smite's going to come out. J4 ult going to come out, and we'll see if who's trapped into with who, and Karthus going down, going to throw the ult. Doesn't look like it's going to do too much there, and we do see the bot lane committing on the kill on the Janna, or the Braum there with Caitlyn ult.
Yeah. I think that was definitely misplayed by Karthus. Like, he was able to set up a lot from the sides, but he was also walking up to a J4 when he didn't have any vision.
And his flash is down. You can't really play up in those lanes,
Yeah.
especially when you see your bot lane just getting 2v2'd non-stop. Sejuani is down there, but there's not much she can do. This Caitlyn looking to double Sivir's CS at this point, and that's just huge for the side of Bentley.
Definitely. I think things are definitely looking bad for Worcester right now. Like, Cho'Gath is up and farm, but the rest of their team isn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Sivir's down like 50 farm right now. Karthus is down 20 plus a kill. Sejuani's about even with J4. I'm gonna look at the gold source right now. Yeah, we see Caitlyn has about 2k gold over Sivir right now. That's gonna be huge.
That's
for her.
insane. That's almost an entire Zeal item there, which is honestly the spike for ADCs. As soon as they get that IE and a Zeal item, that's when they start being actual champions in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
And if Caitlyn's putting out this much pressure early, once she gets 2 items, we'll just see her pop off.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think if I was in Worcester's position, I would have banned the Caitlyn, but they did not have bans
They didn't
coming
have
into
bans.
this.
Yeah, so really hard for them to deal with. And I think also, like, early game, they didn't respect the poke from level 1 Kayla and Janna. So, because they just have such a better level 1 compared to Sivir Braum. So.
Yeah, I agree. And at this point, Worcester just fighting to keep their tower alive.
Yeah.
J4 on that red buff. Infernal Dragon is up. Worcester does have vision of it with a ward, but they're going to be hard pressed to defend that Infernal
Yeah.
if Bentley decides to commit for it. And we do see J4 coming mid again. Karthus does have the flash this time. See if he holds it. Big Sejuani ult coming out. The burst on J4 is insane. Karthus just going to die in the middle of the fight. Does he have the ult to finish off J4? It looks like he doesn't, and the TP is going to come in for Worcester on the Cho'Gath, but Sion is already here. Big ult steal from Silas, getting the Sedge ult onto Cho'Gath. I don't know if that was the right target, but it was definitely a good ult steal. Sion overstepping, tanking the tower too far, has the Sejuani passive on him. Silas doing making the same mistake. Very low on the side of, and the Silas healing come through. Jesus, I was coughing the entire time.
I can tell. Wow, that was a lot.
Oh, Karthus ult coming as soon as he responds, and Silas gonna recommit with that W execute, and the heal is huge. He's back to full HP. And Sejuani gonna fall, and a big gold swing goes to Bentley there. 4k gold up over the side of Worcester, and bot lane following the trends.
Wow, that was just all over the place. I think again, Karthus was walking up when he didn't have any vision. So that I think it was good for J4 to react to that, but I don't know what happened. Sejuani hit her ultimate, but she didn't go over the wall. I'm not sure what happened there, but I think it definitely would have helped to peel the Karthus if she was able to get over that wall. But yeah.
Karthus did not have the opportunity to die in the middle of the fight. J4 definitely got away from him, and also did not have the ult there. If Karthus had the ult there, that fight switches in a big direction because Silas wouldn't have had the time to get his W cooldown back. But
Definitely. But he was just able to heal so much that, yeah, it was just so difficult.
and once again, this Cho'Gath coming out ahead in top lane, but there's only so much that tank top lane can do against an entire team of pretty fed players.
Yeah, he does have a lot of farm over the Scion, but it's still just 2 takes. It's not going to matter that much later.
Definitely doing his job, though, pressuring down the Scion, knowing his trading patterns, always using that silence on the Scion Q. Might commit for a kill here. Scion might have to ult out of this. Oh, that shield is so big and annoying. Brummel coming out to catch the Silas here. I don't know how much they can get off of that. That was kind of forcing it there. Silas going to steal the Brummel back, and now they can force Dragon off of that.
That was definitely a desperate play that Worcester was trying to make. And I think that's good that they're trying to make plays. But I think that doing it on the Silas and using that much for it just like wasn't the best idea there.
Yeah, definitely grasping at straws on the side of Worcester here. The gold lead does come down to about 3K, 2.4-ish. And I guess that's as much as you can hope for there, especially with the Infernal Drake coming right down to Bentley. And it looks like they're going to push down for bot tower here. Definitely going to secure that as Worcester's bot lane backs, gets the hell out of there. And we just see top lane being pushed out. Pretty standard lane.
I think it's definitely good for Worcester to just give away that dragon there. I think that if they try to contest, I think they will just die because they didn't have any of their ultimates up besides the Sejuani. So I think that's smart of them to give away instead of trying to get something out of it, but just do smart anyway.
Yeah. Karthus staying in lane with TP up when he could just back and respawn. Another greedy mistake. We'll see if J4 capitalizes on it. And we do see Janna coming top lane and the bot lane. They're going to get stunned up, knocked up, and Caitlyn trapped. That has to be a kill for the side of Bentley. And it looks like they're just going to push down top lane tower from that. Sejuani up there, but cannot do much against 3 members of Bentley at this point. Top lane just going to get knocked down here by Bentley.
Yeah, I think that was definitely well done by Bentley to move their ball lane top to get that tower and also get the kill on the Cho'Gath.
Interestingly enough, there is a fairly significant rank difference in these two teams. Bentley does have the edge over pretty much every member of Worcester State. However, what you'd think to see is just mechanics, being outplayed by mechanics, and at this point, we're just seeing Bentley being Bentley out macroing Worcester State.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big difference between, well, like higher elo players to lower elo players. I think that macro is definitely the thing that like really defines it, I guess.
For sure.
I think that Bentley's showing that really well with their macro.
Their rotations are insane this game. They're just really, you can tell every move is done with an intent. Like, if they go bottom, they want a kill, they want a dragon, they want a tower, and they know what they're going for. And at this point, Worcester's really grasping for straws, just walking around the map, doing damage control, trying to respond. And if you're at the point where you're responding to ganks instead of setting them up, it's just rough.
Yeah, it's hard for them to do, definitely. Looks like their bot's not going to be going mid. I think that's definitely the right play. They got both of the outer tier ones, right?
Tier ones.
Yeah, they got both of the outside tier ones, so now they're looking for mid.
Ooh, and a whiff from the Sejuani ult. Brummel coming down, gonna miss everyone. Cho'Gath being taken extremely low. Scion going straight into the backline, gonna knock up the Brum, knock up the Sedge. Karthus walking forward, gonna try to die in the middle of the team, do his best to get that damage out, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Big Janna healing coming through. Sion's back at full HP through the Karthus ult. Janna really the only member dropped low. We see Sion walking too far. Going to be able to get out easily of that one, and when the next wave comes, that tower will surely fall. Caitlyn dropping the Herald just to sink it in.
Yeah. I think that the team fight, it was looking okay for Worcester, but the problem is that they're just so far behind. It's just so hard for them to be able to fight a 5-on-5 here.
J4 looking for a force. Might have gone too far there. Going to get taken down by the tower and Sivir. But Silas just going so deep. Did steal that Cho'Gath ult and get the kill with it. Going to give him 60 bonus health, I believe. Because he does get the Cho'Gath passive off that ult. Overcommitting with the Herald here. Not going to get punished. Worcester State just so behind. can't really do much, even through Bentley's mistakes.
Yeah, I think that was I think that was well done by Bentley for the most part. They were able to get multiple two turrets off that. I don't know if J4 going for that play under tower was quite necessary. I think that it kind of didn't do much. I mean, I guess they got 2 kills off of it.
Yeah,
but
I definitely wouldn't have dived there. It was
Yeah.
kind of useless.
Yeah.
They already had the tower at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
7K gold lead coming, 7.5K gold lead coming out
Yeah.
on the side of Bentley, and honestly, it's Bentley's game to lose. They're deciding the entire pace of this game. We do see another dragon coming up in 10 seconds. We will see what that is very shortly. It looks like a cloud drake. Not that big of a deal, but then again, every dragon is a big deal once it comes forcing out the bar flash just by being there on the Scion, and that just shows how ahead they are this game.
Yeah, definitely. They really need to respect that side engage, right? He has an R, he has so much to engage with.
And they're going to put their attention towards bot, pushing out the wave. They do have a wave behind them. Silas just shoving out mid, not really caring too much about what the rest of his team's doing. Worcester State looking to collapse on the Silas, but he is very strong here. Going to pick up the Civil, going to get out of there with the E. And his cooldown reduction is just insane with that blue buff. 20% this early in the game is huge, considering his E goes from 6 second to a 5.3 or something like that. Silas going for a re-engage on the Cho'Gath, and if he can steal that Cho'Gath ult, it's probably the most impactful ult for single target burst, especially in this game. Gonna definitely look towards that inhib. Jarvan dropping the E for the attack speed, but he is gonna get chunked out a little bit there.
Honestly, I think that Worcester might be able to look for something here just because J4 is so low.
Looking for the Braum ult onto Sion, but just not much follow-up from Worcester. They just don't have the damage. Sivir doing as best she can to drop those W's in the middle of the team, but it's just not mattering, and it looks like Bentley's going to turn their attention towards Baron.
I think that's definitely well done by Worcester to just like realize that they just had to give up the inhib instead of trying to look for a fight. I think that if they looked for a fight, it was too much of a risk and not have enough reward. Because if they lose a fight there,
That's
then
just the game.
Bentley's just gonna end. Yeah. I think that's something that a mistake that happens a lot with a lot of teams. They're losing an inhib and they just try to force it.
Jarvan just backing in front of Sejuani there. A really weird mistake from Sejuani not smiting the Jarvan to at least stop his back there. And it looks like the final fight's going to be for Baron. Worcester has to fight for this because if Bentley gets Baron, the game is over.
Yeah. I think that if they do have a lot of wave clear with the Sivir and Karthus, but I think it's just so hard for them to do it, especially with Baron.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like so hard for them to be able to even like walk up to get that wave
Yeah,
clear
if
off.
the game was more even, I would say that Worcester could easily hold out a Baron with their wave clear, but them being just this behind, once again, the ADC behind 70 CS this late in the game, when Sivir is considered one of the best farmers in the game, just really rough for Worcester, and I think they realize that this Baron is the end of the game for them
Yeah.
if they don't win this fight.
Caitlyn has a whole static ship and rapid fire cannon up on Sivir right now, so she's very huge compared to Sivir.
And Bentley gonna start up the Baron, doing it fairly fast.
It
No
looks like-
mountains on the side of Bentley, so this is just pure damage. Worcester gonna spot it out, but it might be too late unless Cho'Gath gets the flash eat over the wall. They don't have the vision and the health. Cho'Gath gonna find it with the Q, but getting knocked up and stunned by that Silas, and it looks like the Baron's gonna go down to Bentley. Braum overstepping here. We saw him use the flash not too long ago. He does not have it for this fight. He's gonna get caught out. And it looks like Bentley, all they have to do is force another fight in the 4v5 situation.
I think that's very great of Worcester to walk up to. I think that they knew even without the vision that they were on it. And I think that Cho'Gath just walking in alone there just wasn't the right idea. I think that they had to both be on the same page, or either all go or to all just stay back.
Yeah, and I think the right move there was to all go, but once again, the team just falling behind, everyone on their own little page. And Bentley's looking for the top tower here. Gonna get forced off a little bit, but the Caitlyn traps on the side of Silas going with the Braum ult. Going
so
right onto
far.
Karthus, going too far in, gonna get taken down. I'm talking for too long. Well, and a big turnaround from J4. Dropping onto the... Worcester holding well against that, gonna get the Karthus ult down. And they take 2 members of Bentley just for 1 member of their own, and at this point in the game, that's really all you can hope for.
Yeah, I think that was definitely really well done by Worcester, but I also think that the Silas walking up like that on the tower is just so
Huge
greedy.
mistake, very greedy on the side of Silas. They could have just sieged and end the game.
Yeah, I think that Worcester should definitely look for a fight here. They're playing so far up with only 3
They have to.
members.
Sion does get the knock up, does have the Sedge passive, gonna get stunned up. Jenna falling very low to those Sivir Qs and gonna get eaten down by the Cho'Gath. Caitlyn's still dropping huge damage out, gonna get knocked up, but they can't really commit. Big Sion passive just disrupting the entire thing, and Caitlyn's just gonna auto the inhib for the final hit. And that is 2 inhibs for the side of Bentley during that Baron power play. And they're gonna reset and look for a mountain in the bot lane.
Yeah, I think that was definitely well done for Worcester to try to punish the Caitlyn and Jana and Sion for walking up when they only had 3 players. I think that was definitely really good. I think it's really unfortunate that they still ended up losing it, but they were so low that they really had to back and get that health back, and
Yeah.
they were able to walk up again.
I think Worcester, once again, playing to their strengths, they're doing the best they could, but at this point, you're just so far behind that even when you play everything correctly, it might just be too late in the game,
Yeah,
and you've sealed your fate.
Yeah.
And even after all that, turning a 7k gold lead into a 9k gold lead.
Wow.
And really, Bentley just has the stop button on the game. It's up to them. They just gotta run and siege down bot.
Yeah, I think that they're definitely making the right play here. They all are going bot because that's the only lane left to get an inhib off of. I think it's going to be definitely really hard for Worcester here because they have both of the other side lanes like pushing into them with super minions. So we'll have to see how they react to that.
And siege cannon coming in, baroned up here.
Yeah.
The wave clear is pretty well done on the side of Worcester, but
It's still just so hard.
only so many waves they can take, and Sion Caitlyn poke coming out. Big Sedgel gonna commit onto the Caitlyn there. Might have gone too deep. Karthus going super deep. Gonna take down Caitlyn, gonna take down Karthus there. Karthus ult coming out. Troll King going very low on that Sion. We'll see what comes out of this game. Caitlyn dropping the ult onto Braum, gonna be blocked by the shield. They do get the tower, gonna look for the inhibitor. I think Worcester State, they have to get this reset, and they have to force something back on here. Ooh,
Wow, that healing.
Silas getting that kill on the Cho'Gath is huge. Cho'Gath not being able to regen his huge health bar. And
like
it looks like they're just gonna end the game.
Yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be game there. I think that the Sejuani going on the Caitlyn was really good, and I think that that's what she had to do. Like that was like your one chance, but just the rest of her team wasn't in the right position to follow
Yeah.
up on it.
I think with a little more communication, they could have stalled that game out a little bit longer, but with the mistakes they made in the early game and the lanes they gave up, it was just rough for Worcester State overall. And once they started playing correctly, it was just too late.